Fans, they always want the same than the manager to win games, so we will try to do the same.
Now, maps detailing the loneliest places in the country are being drawn up as part of government plans to tackle the issue of older people. Scientists say it's a growing cause of depression and dementia.
Well, the Department of Health survey suggests more than 1 million people aged over 65 are often or always lonely.
Over half of all people aged 75 and over live alone,
with 12% saying they feel trapped in their own home.
And 6% leaving their house just once a week. Well, we're joined by Clive Rich, an executive officer with Contact the Elderly. The charity organises tea parties, which Maud Hazel regularly attends. Nice to see you both. Maud, when we look at the hardships that elderly people face, we think a lot about financial hardships, health problems, but how much of an issue was loneliness for you?
Well, you see, I lived with a friend, and then she died, and 4 years I was on my own, and I got into a rut. And then someone said to me, contact the elderly. At first I thought, oh no, I wouldn't mix. But I did contact the elderly. I contacted Cliff, and I was accepted for Contact the Elderly. Afternoon tea I was invited to once a month. The first visit, Cliff came to pick me up. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to go. And then I thought, no, that's rude. I couldn't let the man down, and I've never, ever looked back since.
So what difference does it make to you? Because that's a monthly event.
It's a monthly event, the last Sunday in every month. You see, I have good friends, but weekends they've got family, and I wouldn't bother them. And contact them, I've got that to look forward to once a month. And believe me, the hostesses and people that take you, they couldn't do enough for you.
Well, Cliff, it sounds like Maud here is a regular social bunny now. How difficult is it to persuade people to go and socialise when they have been on their own, and it's quite difficult to make new friends at the best of times, I think?
It is, and it's something that we appreciate at Contact the Elderly, that it does take time. But we rely on our volunteer drivers who go and pick up older people who live on their own, like Maud, and actually take them to the tea parties. So that the volunteers actually get in touch with them first, just to reassure them. We also say to people, come along to see what it's like. I remember taking Maud to her first tea party, and I remember how unsure she was about it. But once she arrived and once she joined, she really, as she said, she hasn't looked back at all.
Do you notice a real change in their behaviour and their health almost when you see them going through the system?
And around 28% of the older people that we surveyed last year who come to Contact the Elderly tea parties say that their general health has improved, and 80% say that they don't feel as lonely as they did before. So that has to be a good thing, because they are all people who do live on their own, and they're all people who actually struggle with their mobility and really struggle to get out of their own homes.
I mean, Maud, I don't know what you make of this, but I often find that sometimes it's almost patronising to older people, because you're told to go and visit your neighbour, pop in and see them for a visit. But would you prefer to go out and socialise and meet people rather than having people coming around to see you?
I'd like to go out, but when you get to my age, I'm afraid it's impossible. I'd have to have someone to take me. So therefore, Contact the Elderly is something I look forward to. And how can I explain? They've been so kind to me. They're so caring. No matter who it is, Contact the Elderly, the staff in the office, everybody. The people you go to, they couldn't do enough for you. Now, I'll tell you an incident. I go to a lady every now and again. She's only young, she's got 3 young children. She couldn't make you welcome enough. Well, living on my own, she asked me to spend Christmas with her, Christmas Day. And believe me, she couldn't have done enough for me.
That's a lovely story, Maud. I mean, Cliffy, you mentioned the younger people. Do you find that younger people are lonely as well? Because the kind of society we live in now, there's a lot of divorced people, single parents, so it's not just limited to the elderly.
Absolutely. But what we find is that actually a lot of our volunteer drivers are a lot younger because, especially in our London groups, because many of them don't have grandparents who live nearby, and many of them, their grandparents have sadly passed away. So we hope that Contact the Elderly actually helps younger people.
So they're getting
well.
something out of it as well, which perhaps
our
other people might
volunteers
not.
tell us that they get almost as much out of volunteering as the older people do. And we are looking to set up more groups right across England, Scotland and Wales. So anybody who would like to join us and volunteer, we'd love to hear from them.
Well, that'd be great to see you both.
I would like to say, if I can just help one person that's lonely to either join Contact the Elderly or any group, believe me, it will change their lives.
So the message is don't be shy, don't be reluctant, go out and make friends then.
Hopefully coming along today will help you do that, Maud. Thanks very much. Maud Hazel and Cliff Rich, thank you both very much. Well, that was Bolton & Co. If you missed any of the interviews today, they're all on the Sky News for iPad app already.
We're back tomorrow with Bolton & Co. Next up, it's Kay Burley with all of the day's news, including the latest on the new Director General at the BBC. She'll have all of those details for you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Kodak has the lowest